I'm
He
doxing you.
was, yeah.
It's
Hey.
fixed now.
All right, so why are people telling me to come in here again? I don't know what's going on.
Oh fucking hell! Who did?
Who told you to get in here?
I don't know, like
Apparently,
three
people,
people.
people are saying, I didn't say this, but now that you're here, people are saying that the information on Kiwi Farms is fake.
Oh, I'm guessing somebody is using a PDF file to claim this. JF, is that correct? A brand new PDF file making its rounds.
I'm not using a PDF file. I'm using some of the facts that are in it. For example, the fact that the tweet that was quoted as being an economics magazine on that post was from a parody account of an economics magazine.
Yeah.
So it's like you quoted The Onion. It's like you said that there was a murder, but then I look at the source and it's The Onion.
Did you click on the source?
Did I click on the source? I saw that the source was self-described as a parody account.
And
they admitted that they were lying.
If you clicked on the source, you would see that it's a forum inside of that economics whatever parody thing, where people are complaining about being fucking screwed over by a certain somebody.
Okay.
So
and the report that you quoted was from an account that says "We lie and we laugh and we're a parody account."
And which one would that be?
That was the Not A Whatever magazine. It was starting with Not A. So it was even in the title of the magazine, it was telling you that it's not an economics magazine. It was telling you we're not an economic.
You're talking about the one, again, that links to the forum complaining about the issue going on at hand.
I'm talking about what looks to be to me a tweet. And that tweet says something like Coach Red Pill has been stealing a website from his business partner, which is false. Even the business partner himself admits that it is false. And the claim of stealing there is a false accusation taken from a parody account on Twitter.
Hold on. Where did he say that it was false, that he was having it taken from him?
So Mr. Keane replied in one of his messages that was sent to him. He said, the story, he said, some of the story is true, but these allegations about fraud are false. And he said, here's what happened. And then he was asked to demonstrate what he meant by there is still fraud. And for this, all he provided is one email. I've examined this email. There is no trace of fraud in this email.
There are actually 14 emails, and I was actually holding on to them, hoping Coach Red Pill would try to lie about what was going on.
Release the 14 emails, because I've seen those that are out, and there is no trace of extortion or fraud.
I mean, unless you talk about breaking a legal binding contract and then demanding compensation for in exchange for handing back over a website that you had made that legal binding contract to hand over for $1 at any time that Keane asked for, then yes, you'd be right. If that was the definition that everybody else is going off of.
There is no trace that this email breaks a binding contract. There is no trace of that.
The verbal, the verbal contract that's legally binding with evidence showing that it existed and the work being done for it.
So see how we progress. See when you catch these rats lying and you push them.
Whoa! Hold on. Let me.
You represent yourself as a rat? No, or is that a hamster?
Let's see.
Is it a hamster or a rat? I don't want to defame you. Are you a rat or a hamster?
I'm a squirrel.
Let's hear him finish his argument, because
it's a squirrel. All right, so it's a squirrel. I apologize. I didn't want to misrepresent him as a rat.
He's the same guy
I like
hold on. Just so we're clear, right? You're the guy that took down Kraut, so you don't have an ideological.
No, I don't give a shit. I'm only after.
Well, I'm sorry to say, but JF, you did point out that Coach Red Pill is your friend on a stream with me.
And Coach
So
Redpill,
what?
you did say I'm
It
not
doesn't
biased.
change the fact that this man, just this man who presents himself as a squirrel, has just admitted that the legally binding contract he's talking about is now no more a written contract. It is a verbal contract that he claims
Yes.
exists. Do you have recordings of this contract, The Guardian?
Oh yes, that's what the emails are for. They're actually a documentation. Plus, the work that is done and the payments made for work constitute a legal binding contract that in the court of law can be determined as being broken.
Okay, was
what
it
I-
determined as being broken in a court of law?
Oh, that's the kicker. Again, people keep trying to claim that just because somebody does something shitty and hasn't been prosecuted for it doesn't mean they didn't do anything shitty. I understand JF. He's your friend, but come on, man. There are some
That
things
has nothing
that.
to do with him being my friend. I would not
Okay,
judge
okay.
someone
Well, then
for
why
an
did you admit
allegation
to breaking the
by a
contract on the
squirrel on the
Kumite
internet
a week ago?
with no supporting evidence. You have no supporting evidence. I've looked at the
Well,
whole
what's the
email
fucking
chain.
evidence?
There's nothing in there. So if you have something else, put it out. Else you will be ridiculed as the unreliable person that
Yeah.
you are.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are
What
you
am
doing?
I doing?
I'm
just a guy with a microphone.
I understand. You're defending an indefensible position. When
What's
you
the
make a
indefensible
verbal,
position?
you
The fact
make
that we have to offer presumption of innocence to everyone on this earth?
Okay, do we offer presumption of innocence to Zeph? For
I offer presumption of innocence for anyone who does not have overwhelming evidence against them that they've committed a crime or some sort of evidence that they've committed an immoral act. Yes,
So
I offer it
basically-
to Zeph.
Hold on,
So-
you're saying that if the Economist would come here as the wounded party, he would basically be able to call Coach Red Pill a fraud because he would have overwhelming evidence against Coach Red Pill, or so he would claim. I don't think the person
Okay.
who's the wounded party, in this case, you against Zeph, would be an objective person to talk about the case, because that's why we make sure that judges who are implicated in an event recuse themselves, because the judge
See,
needs to
that's
be
the
objective.
problem. You're back to the individuals. Did I talk about the individuals? Did I talk about who's reliable here? No, I talk about the evidence. And that's the problem. You guys are making crazy claims on the public space without evidence. Sorry, you got caught.
I have evidence. I provided the evidence. Again, you're
All right,
trying
I
to
looked at
say
the
that
evidence. It is not evidence of a crime. It's evidence that Coach Red Pill has sent emails. So all that you've proven is that Coach Red Pill has fingers and he can type on a fucking keyboard.
Oh, great job, JF. JF, come on. I'm giving you a round of applause here. The fact that you make a verbal contract with somebody, and they, this is why when you go and have a apartment that you run, and the person who owns the apartment says that they were going to do something for a tenant, and they don't carry out what they were saying they're going to do, the tenant can sue because that is a verbal contract being made. That's
Was there any suit there?
Oh, but that's the point. Steve Keen didn't understand where Coach Red Pill lived. He assumed he lived in Chile at the time. He also didn't understand that Coach Red Pill actually lived in, I guess, the United States. I'm not too clear about where exactly Coach Red Pill lived because it's not really all that important to the case at hand. He just assumed that he couldn't sue him because he had no idea where he was at. So he didn't understand the laws or governance of those laws to find him. Now,
All right, well, I'll be glad to hear Mr. Keen if he wants to come out and if he has evidence that I have not reviewed. He can come here on the committee, and I will do, in fact, a morning committee against Mr. Keen, and I will be open to reviewing the evidence that he would have provided to the court, but he couldn't because he couldn't find Coach Red Pill.
Why would you do the Kumite and not Coach Red Pill?
What?
Why are you standing up for somebody?
YouTube creator all YouTube creators have an absolute discretion in which show they appear on, and if Coach Red Pill doesn't want to appear here, I respect his decision.
Okay, so yeah. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that you're trying to call a verbal contract with evidence of it existing, payments being made, and the work being done as somehow not being a contract.
Is there evidence that Coach Red Pill, and what is the contract that you're talking about, and is there evidence that Coach Red Pill has agreed to this contract?
Yes, actually.
What is the contract and what is the evidence?
Okay, well, here, I'll tell you. So Steve King approached Coach Red Pill, requested help because apparently Coach Red Pill was great at making websites at the time. He was pretty well known in the financial area. Since Coach Red Pill already had a website called was it Gonzala SPG or something like that, which was also a subscription-based website. He offered to turn Steve Keen's was it Economics Forum or something like that. There's the names in the Kiwi thread. They offered to change it into a subscription-based website as well, on the prerequisite that Steve Keen had to get 300 new subscribers every month to support the growth and the cost of upkeep for the website. Steve Keen agreed on the prerequisite that Coach Red Pill had to return the control of the website back over to Steve Keen at his discretion, as for the exchange fee of like $1, I think is what it is for the host domain, and that's actually in the emails itself.
So this is in the email because Keen claimed that. Where is it I have Coach Red Pill agreeing to a discretionary takeover of the website?
Can you show the email? Can you show the email on your screen?
I have a cell phone, and the problem is that all the emails I have are direct emails. I haven't redacted them yet.
So here's the thing, guys. I'm going to sum up what's happening here. We have someone claiming that there is a contract, and he cannot provide evidence of that contract. I am bound to not believe that this contract...
No, he can't provide evidence right now. Would you be able to provide,
Tweet it to me later?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the problem is that there's so much like personal identifiable information on the email that it would be a fuck provide them now, because you might get people hurt. This is the thing about why you keep some information private.
Can you not use the Paint and just delete the?
Well, again, I do everything by cell phone. I barely got Hangouts working.
Okay.
I mean, that's why I sent them to you.
But basically, if people are really anal about it, could you provide the evidence?
Yeah, no, it's no problem. I provided you the evidence. Why wouldn't I provide other people the evidence?
You did provide me the material to make my videos, but I didn't really go into Coach Red Pill scamming things, so I didn't use any of that.
So
all I cared about was his dishonesty towards, his private persona compared to his public persona.
Yeah, that's
like,
fine.
The way I started my video was that someone who hurts people, who legitimately does that to others, doesn't have a place on the internet. This was Coach Red Pill's own words. And then I showed that this is exactly what he did to other people. And this is exactly how he acts in his private place and tells other people to behave. So by his own definition, by his own words, I judged him in my video.
Yeah, but to JF, everything that is listed in the emails, everything with agreements, the payments made to Coach Red Pill, because even Coach Red Pill said he came out 17 grand on top of everything. Even though in the emails he gave to Steve Keen that he somehow went into the whole negative 18 grand or some shit like that. It doesn't make sense at the time. There's a discrepancy.
He didn't say negative. He said that he had invested money at the initial phase. He didn't say negative.
If you eat the deficit, which is taking a negative.
It's different. It's not a negative. What he said is, these costs will be on me. That's different than saying this will be a total loss for me. You can have a share of cost, for example, for an expense that a business is doing while making profit. You can say, I'm going to deal with the car, or I'm going to deal with buying the food for the business. And you can say, I'm taking these expenses all on me. And yet you can be making full profit with the business. That is the contradiction that you propose is not what is illustrated by the emails. You are confused.
Possibly. That is, I'm not even going to deny that might be a possibility. But from what he stated is that he's eating a deficit, which is why he is requesting $5,000 as a compensation for like.
He said that he had expenses.
He'd eat it though. He would eat the expenses. It doesn't even say expenses. Come on, I thought it said the cost or whatever the hell it was. The
best way to sort this out.
I've always trusted my memory, and usually when I talk to random artists on the internet, my memory is better than their own reading of a paper that's right in front of their eyes.
I don't trust memory. Memory is the worst possible thing. That's why.
All right, well, give me something else to trust, The Guardian. Go off of your cell phone, find a desktop computer, and tweet that to me. I can't wait.
Why would you go off of your memory? Memory is the worst
Guardian,
possible evidence.
Guardian,
Because
the
my
best way to
memory
sort
has
this
never
out-
been wrong up to now.
the
It's
best
been
way-
wrong several times. What are you
Okay, come
talking
on,
about?
JF, you can't honestly say that you've never had the problem, not remembering something. But basically,
go ahead and point it to me. You just made an allegation about me. When is it that a time led me to trust my memory in a way that I ended up stating false stuff? If you make that
think,
claim,
okay,
you have to provide.
I will look what I'm basing this claim on, right? I think it's common sense that every person on Earth is going to, at one point in their life, especially when you live so long, you're going to forget something. I honestly don't believe that you're the Superman that has this photographic memory. Okay,
Prove it, V. Prove it. All you have to do is show me a fucking PDF with the email showing that he did use the word deficit and that he did say that he had losses. You realize how easy it is to prove that I'm wrong? And instead of doing that, you keep making suggestions about me not being able to remember a fucking article I've read 8 hours ago.
That's not what I said. You said, let me finish, because you made an accusation at me, right? This is not what I said, that you're wrong about this. You said that your memory never failed you. Okay, so I find that honestly hard to believe that in your entire life you didn't have one point. Okay, I can't prove this, but again, I would find it extremely hard to believe, because every other person on Earth does have the moment where they forget their car keys or some shit. Okay,
that's not what I say. I don't say that I don't forget. I said my memory has never fooled me into stating a fact that ended up being false. That's very different, because I don't make it up when I don't know. I say it, I do not know. But here, I know. I know that the Guardian with his cell phone doesn't have access to as much information as I do. And I'm telling you that there is not the word deficit in that email. If you want to prove me wrong, it's as easy as Googling the Kiwi Farms article, reading the freaking email, and showing me a screenshot where I'm wrong.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to say.
You just changed what you said.
What I want to say is that the only way to fix this is to have the Guardian just release everything he has, put it public, and we're going to see, who's right and who's wrong. Just, retract the names, of course, so that people don't get hurt.
So it says right here, JF, before we go through this, why do you prefer to be technically correct instead of right? What is with this shit?
I
why do you want to be right in the letter but not
so
the spirit?
You are making an attribution of preference to me that I've never stated, so I will not even answer this question.
No, the question is why is it important to be right in the letter but not in the spirit of the word?
I'm right in the spirit and the letter. You guys are accusing someone falsely based on ridiculous allegations that someone has denied, the supposed victim has denied himself. So I'm the one in the right position right now. Because you guys cannot even bring me a single piece of evidence that proves your claim. You claim that there was a contract. You claim that there was a contract offering discretionary repossession to Mr. Keen from Coach Red Pill. I stand here, just based on my memory, I tell you, no, that's bullshit. And you guys have nothing. You look like fucking idiots on the public space right now.
Okay, hold on. I'm looking right here at all the shit that there was agreed to. Like, even the Kiwi Farms threads. So, he says, refund the US $7,500 I invested in revamping and refitting your regular blog. I will eat the money I spent on the DE site, which is the site that was had the contract for. The fucking the subscription website for the thing that was Keen's verbal contract or whatever agreement you want to call it, which is a fucking verbal contract.
Let me save you some time, The Guardian. Let me save you some time. Can you quote me the part of that text? Just quote it and read it to me. The part of that text that says that Coach Red Pill will be giving back the website for $1 to Mr. Keen on request and at the discretion of Mr. Keen. Where is it? Quote the sentence.
As per our agreement, please retain the $1 from my next payment as payment to you.
Is that a statement of Coach Red Pill?
Economics. What?
Is that a statement of Coach Red
Okay,
Pill?
so what JF is doing right now is trying to get Coach Red Pill off on a technicality. But I think any sane person reading that can make his own opinion. We're not trying to send Coach Red Pill into jail, but I do find it believable that if you're going to email a person
if
and
I
you're
send you
going
an
to ask,
email, hey V, if I send you an email saying, "Hey V, thanks for raping me last night," did you
Okay,
commit
it's
the
not-
rape?
Yeah, this is not similar.
Would that be evidence that you've raped me, V? Do you want me to try? Do you
JF.
want me to post a Kiwi Farm forum post? I will just send you the email. I will show that you've responded to the email some ridiculous stuff.
JF.
And I'll say, look, there's evidence that I've been raped by V because look, it's written in the freaking email. But I've written the fucking email, V.
These
This is
are
exactly
email.
what you're reading.
These-
You're
these
having
are
the Guardian
email.
read the words of
Hold on.
Mr. Keane himself and claiming that it is a two-way binding contract. It is not a two-way binding contract.
No,
It's an email by a single
Come on,
party.
I want to wait for him to finish so I can say, right? These are emails from 2011. And what you're saying, indeed, is not going to convict him in a court unless there is proof of that verbal contract. However, for
Well,
me,
then you
as
can
a person,
all suck my cock.
I let you speak, JF. Now let me, please, right? For me, as a person, as a member of the public, looking at those emails and seeing the whole story, I am going to come to the conclusion that, yeah, it's pretty fucked up, right? Because it's not that email by itself. There's a series of emails, and you get to see that why would the guy just all of a sudden say, yeah, per our agreement, right? This is not about raping. This is not about a rape accusation or anything like that. You can watch the narrative from the beginning and to the end. And yeah, I agree. No court will convict him on that. But I, as a person of the public who are reading this, can make my own moral judgment upon his character.
And that's why in 1,000 years from now, people will remember that Papa JF was more trustable than a Romanian guy on YouTube.
You gotta be on the right side of history, JF. That's the way to do it. That's what everybody says, right? Be on the right side of history.
You know why I trust this, by the way? Because the Guardian, as I said, has absolutely no horse in this race. He's the one who took down crowd.
No.
He is the one that went
Oh, so
after.
you trust a guy who trusts hearsay, who makes false claims
No.
about legal contracts
No.
that don't exist?
I
You
trust a guy
an
who
email
has
sent
no
by
horse in
one
this
of the
race.
party and interprets this legally as being a two-way binding contract. You're trusting
I trust
idiots,
the guy.
and
I
that's,
trust the guy.
that's why
Whoa,
you
whoa,
look
whoa,
like
whoa,
an
whoa, whoa.
I
Again,
trust
again,
the guy
you-
who
you
has no
claim
horse
that
in
it's
this
not.
race over someone who can't come here and defend himself and sends his lackeys to talk to me because he doesn't have the balls to come up here and make the arguments that you're making himself.
Yeah, so you keep confusing shit, JF. An agreement, a prerequisite to the agreement of 300 people a month of subscribers, plus being paid, plus the work being done on the website for Steve King by Coach Red Pill is a legal binding verbal contract with evidence backing it. You can
No.
try to deny that it is, which you keep
is
trying
not.
to do. In the
Because if
court.
I send you an email saying, "The Guardian, you've promised to suck my dick, therefore you are legally bound to suck my dick." That's
Sure,
just an
sure, that
email
would
of
be
me. The only thing that would make it a binding contract is if you would reply, "Yes, Papa JF, I want to suck your dick."
Oh, but Coach Red Pill agreed to all the other shit that's in the emails, all the other stuff. He didn't
But he did
assume
not
that he
agree
had no
to
idea
this
what
one.
the
Doesn't
fuck
that
he was
give you a cue? Doesn't that give you a cue
no, here's the
that he
problem.
did not
Here's the
agree to
problem.
this one?
Here, hold on.
And that it's the only one, it's the only allegation that you need to smear CRP. And as it turns out, he didn't agree on it in his email. Doesn't
no,
that
that's
wake up
breaking-
something in your mind?
Hold
Guardian.
up, hold up. Because here's the problem. You're claiming that it is just a random one-off email that, if I said, "Hey, JF, you promised to suck my ass. Why aren't you doing it now?" You reply with, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Not carry on the conversation as if you're knowing all this shit. As if the agreement has been staying. And these emails go back almost a year and a half, I believe, of work being done on the fucking website.
The
So
fact
I
that
don't know what the
CRP
fuck-
refused to engage on the false claim of a promise there, or the claim that you make about this promise, because it's not even the words of Mr. Keane that the
Why isn't he
repurchasing
saying
of the
that?
website
Why
would be
isn't he here
discretionary.
saying
That is
Why-
your interpretation, The Guardian. That is your interpretation that there was
Why-
a
why would
discretionary
you-
right for Mr. Keane to reprocess the website at any moment. I've never been presented with evidence, not even an allegation by
I'm not
Mr. Keane that this was the case.
Have you
Coach Red
talked
Pill
to him?
is not here
Oh,
saying
oh,
that.
wait, hold on.
Because Coach Red
Have
Pill
you
said it
talked
to me a few hours ago, so I don't care if he's not here. That's his interpretation of the story, and so I report it here.
I will tell you why he's not here, right? Because he's not a very smart person. And the only reason he's sending you here is to get him off on fucking technicalities. Because if he was here, he knows he wouldn't be able to make the same defense that you are making for him.
Well,
If
it
you
doesn't
think
matter
I
about the
take order
defense because
from
the defense is shitty.
anyone, you are.
Anyways,
I'm not taking
Again,
orders
you-
from Coach Red Pill nor anyone.
and I don't believe you
Listen,
are. I think you're doing it to defend your friend.
And I say, and people say that I have Sagan's dick in my mouth. You definitely have Coach Red Pill's dick in your mouth right now, buddy. By the same logic.
I
I don't
don't.
care about what
I-
people think. That's
yeah,
your problem.
I'm
I
gonna
care
go.
about the
Yeah.
fact.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna. Okay, Ian. JF. I don't think you're fucking a lackey for Coach Red Pill. I just think you're slightly misinformed on the situation. Have you talked to Steve King at all, JF?
No, because I have enough evidence from
Okay, so
his
you've got
text
one-
that,
so
that
you've
you've
got
reported on the Kiwi farms.
Okay, that's fair. So you have one side of an argument from a guy who uses honesty as a tactic.
To be clear, I was not convinced of anything by Coach Red Pill today. I knew my position on
I'm
this
just saying-
issue based on
and-
reviewing the evidence.
Okay, that's fine. And I'm not even here to try to convince you otherwise of whatever you think is going on. I'm just saying is that in the United States, the verbal contract laws for us, that would be enough to get a civil court to reward restitution.
First, I know about the law in the U.S. more than you do, and
That's
secondly,
weird because
I never denied that verbal contracts don't exist. I claim that in this case, you do not have evidence of a verbal contract.
But what does the evidence of a verbal contract require?
That would be Coach Red Pill replying to the email and say, "Oh yeah, I did promise that you could repurchase the website for $1. You are correct."
So you're stating that it has to be that way. So so this is going to be a
Not only
Sort of
am I
contract-
stating this, the Supreme Court of the US is also stating this. For a contract to operate, you need to have consensual agreement of the two parties.
yes, which is the fucking site being run by Coach Red Pill. The requirements, prerequisites from Coach Red Pill, the 300 subscribers a month. The owner of the sites, the person who had taken control of it, had a pre-agreement. The only reason I'm showing these emails is because it shows when he broke the agreement. Now, if I would have known that
Show me the
people would
agreement.
try to, okay, well that's the other fucking 14 emails.
All right.
Again,
Can't wait to
okay.
review them. Can't wait
Okay,
for
that's
them to
fine.
be public.
okay, that's fine. I really don't give a shit if you are really happy about them. I mean, I'll publish them, but I
I'm
gotta read
happy.
out the fucking. Okay, that's fine. But again, that information alone shows that he says instead of the agreement they had agreed upon, he wants all these other things plus this, and then I'll give you your website back.
Hey,
This is
I'm just
untrue.
reading-
He did not say instead of an agreement. He said, these are my conditions for he didn't even say it. He implied that these were his conditions for the breaking of the contract. The breaking of the contract being, in that case, a bilateral thing, in the sense that they both admitted that the site could not continue. So it's a failed business
No,
deal,
well,
and
that's
your
not
representation of it
not
is
true.
incorrect.
Well,
Actually, that's not true.
I'm listening to this while I'm
Before
cleaning.
before you go,
Hold on. I'm going to jump out of here real quick. I just want to say this.
Yeah,
I was cleaning about verbal contracts. As a business owner, the only reason that a verbal contract would ever become something that could be used legally is if there is no actual contract involved, like a written
Mhm.
contract that's signed.
Yep.
Then they would default to a two-party verbal agreement, which
Yep.
if you do not see it, I mean, somebody can say, hey, do you agree to clean my car every Friday? And the person never responds or actually addresses, yes, I will clean your car every Friday. Then it's no longer legal.
Yeah, it's not provable.
Yeah, but that's not like, again, that's where the payments, the other stuff comes into play, and the fact that there was actually another set of people from the domain advisor, whatever the fuck he is. I'll just post
If
it
there
all
is
when I
some
get it all.
circumstantial evidence that connects with the actual evidence and it makes sense, then it would be up to the judge to decide.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's why I can say I'm not trying to fucking. Nobody's trying to get Coach arrested. This is just shady shit that's been done along the way. That is all this is. That's the only thing I have issue with is when people do shady things and claim a moral high ground. That is all I care about.
To me, the fact that Coach isn't here defending himself says a lot about his character and about how he feels about this shit.
Yes, well, I mean, there's a lot of things that Coach tries to do and it ends badly. That's why he's not here. JF is much cooler head, and he would be able to argue his points better than he could because, again, he doesn't understand his own points.
Not only that, he's not that smart. That's the whole thing.
Well, no. So again, here's the crazy thing on the Kumite. What was the last time you talked to Coach Red Pill V?
Well, I was actually here. Like, honestly, I was here to, have a little banter with him.
Just when was the last time you talked to him?
I don't remember. I think it was a couple of days ago.
No, it wasn't a couple of days ago. Like the last week, where he kept asking what Sargon's cum tastes like.
Yeah, that was like his broken record of.
Yeah, but when you asked him, so is it okay? What was it exactly? His exact words were, "You broke a contract" or something like that, and then he said, meaning that there was a contract. And he
didn't deny that there wasn't a contract
that he broke. That's the key thing. He acknowledged he broke the contract. I'm not even going to use like some other fucking thing. The Kumite has it recorded. I don't have to like fucking scrounge around for bullshit. He said it himself, and people seem to ignore this for conspiracy theories about me coming up with fake shit. And I don't understand why you guys aren't using his own fucking words unless he's lying about that to make himself look bad, which doesn't seem to help him. So, JF, you're going to have to explain that one to me. I mean, you may say, well, I don't have... Yeah,
Did Coach Red Pill say that there was a contract binding him to Mr. Keen, allowing him to repossess the website at any condition and on the discretion of Mr.
There's circumstantial evidence where he says that he did broke a contract, right? So with all the circumstantial evidence put together, connecting it with the actual evidence, again, a judge can make his decision, and it will be up to what lawyer Coach Red Pill has versus what lawyer Keen has. But I'm not trying to convict Coach Red Pill and send him to jail. All I'm looking at is the things that he did. And to me, personally, I do think that he actually did it. Now, if you disagree with my opinion, that's up to you. But I am entitled to judge other people that are around me and to make my own opinion based on their character.
And that's the weird thing. You're going off of a guy who says, so what? I broke a contract. And everyone knows everyone already understands it's talking about the issue with Steve Keen.
Yeah,
but you're here defending him as if he doesn't.
He's not smart, right? This is why Coach Red Pill isn't here, and he said JF instead. Because Coach Red Pill, when he is here, he has the slips of the tongue, and he's providing more incriminating evidence against him. So he can't come in here and have a one-on-one with me or a one-on-one with you or anyone else. So he has to send JF in his place.
And I respect JF because that takes a lot of balls to defend an undefensible position. Now, the technicalities that you're arguing, JF, they could be right. The problem
is like the very existence of the contract that you claim exists. That's what you call a technicality, you idiot. You're fucking funny. You're seriously fucking funny.
He admitted that the contract exists. He admitted that he broke it.
All right, show me the contract, because we break contracts every day. Every time I say to someone, I'll be there at 7 p.m. and I'm there at 7:02 p.m., I broke a contract. That doesn't show malicious intent. It doesn't show shady behavior. Yes, it is a contract by your standard, temporary.
No, it's by the legal standard. That's not a verbal contract.
It is a verbal contract by your own criteria, the Guardian.
JF, it needs to have a business transaction. It needs to involve money, hence the $1. Come on, JF.
You are absolutely ridiculous and you don't understand verbal contracts. By
do.
the definition of The Guardian given earlier, a
Not the
verbal
definition
contract
I
can
did.
be, I will be there at 7:02 p.m. I will be there
No.
at 7:05 p.m. And in exchange, you will be there. And in exchange, we will be eating some food. Those are all verbal contracts. We don't sue for them because they don't matter that much, but they are verbal commitments and they constitute verbal contracts under the law. There's no reason to reject them. It's just that they go below the radar of most lawsuits because no one would sue someone for being late 2 minutes.
You're right, because there's no fucking financial cost or damages done. But there is in this case, which I don't understand why you're trying to ignore.
The thing is, right, if there is no written contract, then that means there was a verbal contract, because obviously the judge can prove that there was a business going between the two. So the question is, like, what are the terms of the business? Which means that they are going to
And
look
you
at
guys
the
are bringing
circumstantial
nothing
evidence.
to suggest that the terms have been violated. You don't have the terms, and
Coach
you claim
Red Pill
that terms were violated.
Coach Red Pill said it on the Kumate. Okay, he was
He
he
said-
was here, he fucked up.
To say
That's on
that the
him.
contract was broken, to say I couldn't perform my actions as part of this contract is very different from saying there was shady behavior.
Yeah, wait. So it would be true if that was the only thing, but the emails themselves say that no. He says, "Fuck your contract. Here's what I want instead, and then I'll give you back the
It
fucking
doesn't say
website."
fuck your contract. You are still lying,
Whoa,
and at this
whoa,
point,
whoa,
I
whoa,
believe
whoa,
that you
whoa.
are disingenuous, The Guardian.
Stop.
You know very well that he didn't say
Not
fuck the
American.
contract. So why don't you quote him?
Stop. Maybe you're not from the United States, but we use colorful language to, make a point. It's kind of
I
like
don't when people start smearing people for no reason. So stop with your fucking colorful language and show me some freaking quote.
Okay,
This is
Guardian,
the
hold on,
technology
Guardian. You need to understand that JF is very specific about the letter, not the spirit of what you're saying. For instance, when I was with him in a stream, he said that Coach Red Pill is a good guy, right? And then when I say, okay, so you're thinking that he is a moral person, it's like, no, that's not what I said. I said it's a good guy, right? When I think about a good person, I think that they're also a moral person, but you need to be very careful with the words you say with JF, because he's not going to attack the spirit of what you're saying. He's just going to attack the letter.
That's the technicality bullshit I brought up. That's in practice, but even if he says he doesn't do it, in practice it happens over and over again. This is why I keep bringing it up. The technicality bullshit is I don't like that. It's pointless because, again, you're trying to attack an argument where I'm trying to explain. He said very well. He denied the transfer of the website and then demanded more from it. That's breaking contracts.
And I repeat to you, you have no evidence that there was a contract forcing the return of the website to Mr. Keene at Mr. Keene's discretion. And so I repeat this again and again
to figure out what the original contract was.
Come up with another attack or another lie. So that makes you look like a fool, The Guardian. So why don't you shut up for a moment and bring me the freaking documents that prove that Mr. Keene had the right by legal contract with Coach Red Pill to reclaim the website at any time.
So when Steve Keene tried to shut down the website, and okay, V, bring up the emails real quick. Do you have them?
I made the video. I deleted them. It was a lolcow video. I didn't even.
That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a bunch of amateurs who believe that they are investigators. You guys
I
are
never said I'm an investigator, Jeff.
Unlike
you
V,
act like one because you do investigative work and you don't follow up and you don't do the proper verification. So as a result, people in the chat and people on the internet have the impression that you guys know what you're doing. You don't. You're a bunch of retards on the internet. That's the sad truth.
The actual retard is the one who isn't here, JF, right? The one who can't defend himself. That's the actual retard. And secondly, I never claimed I was an investigator.
Show that you're a retard.
I never claimed that I was an investigator. All I did in my videos, I have posted links towards. People can make their own opinions themselves. This is not, you are being a retard for thinking this is Coach Red Pill on trial, right? This is not the judge. This is not the jury.
Did I say that?
This is basically public opinion. And if you don't care with what public opinion has to say, that's fine. If you want to become his lawyer and defend him in court, that's also fine. But you're not going to stay here and say that this, like when something looks utterly obvious, you can say, well, this wouldn't hold in a court of law. No, it wouldn't. But I'm not a court of law.
I never
I'm
said
just a
it
person,
wouldn't
and I
hold in
can-
a court of law. It doesn't hold in my brain as a scientist who's interested in facts, who has succeeded at finding the bullshit that you guys have been stirring for months.
Bullshit. Really?
Bullshit. Bullshit like the
Okay.
one you've repeated here, The Guardian. Like your claim that there is a legal contract allowing Mr. Keane to get his website back for
Ooh,
$1 at his discretion.
Mm-hmm.
Bullshit.
So wait. So you're telling me that when they bring up the transferring back what we agreed upon, transfer the website back for $1 for the cost of the transfer fee, he could just do that when Steve King dies, right? That's just a fucking practical, like.
You know what I find
Contract
interesting,
terminology.
JF? It's like the whole Sargon knew meme. You're not going to be so anal if he actually knew or didn't know. And it's like, can you show actual proof where Sargon of Akkad by himself is shown by Kraut, the whole docs, and he know? No, all of a sudden there, it's like, oh yeah, well, it's obvious. He knew, right? Let's use our brain, right? Obviously. But when it's about Coach Red Pill, it's like you become like, can you show me the incriminating paper? I want to see the smoking gun. Why the double standard, mate? Why is it
The double
just then
standard
all
that
of
you
a sudden
perceive is
you
in
become
two.
really anal?
The double standard that you perceive is in two situations that are ridiculously different, because Sargon admitted that he knew. So of course, in front of an admission, I'm forced to trust Sargon on his own knowledge. In the case of Coach Red Pill never admitted that he was under a binding contract with Mr. King that ordered the return of the website for $1. You guys have invented this.
Whoa. We didn't invent anything. What are you talking about?
You invented it.
No.
Yes,
What the
because
fuck are
you
you
cannot
talking
show
about?
me the evidence.
Guys,
Or
email
show
that-
me the evidence. I'll be waiting for your
I can't
tweet.
fucking
I'll be
email-
waiting with great impatience. I'm
Years
all
ago.
excited, The Guardian.
Okay, I can't invent emails that happened what? Fucking in the 2013? That's not
So you don't have the email, so you invented it.
Whoa. I said I didn't invent. I didn't say I didn't have. Because I'm fucking looking at them right now. Okay.
All right, let's go through it. Let's have fun. I'm here for a long time. We're going to make this a 12-hour show.
What the fuck? Are you
He's,
kidding?
he's agreeing to.
I'm
his,
not kidding.
right
I'm
now.
excited right now.
Okay,
He's building
one.
up the hype to the audience.
Yeah, I understand that. He's trying to play it off. One, I will fucking drop the emails later this week when I don't have fucking work. Okay, I'm not fucking
Alright.
running off of your time. I know you think that you're going to be stomping all over shit tonight. It's not going to fucking happen. Again,
All
I'm
right.
going to fucking kick that cat.
So
But
then let's
no,
just chill.
I need-
Let's
I'm
just
not
open
rushing.
a bottle
Hold
of
on, I'm
beer
not-
and enjoy
yeah.
the rest of the night, and not make
yeah.
false claims about evidence that is not available.
Hold on. It's not a fucking false claim. I understand that you tried to keep claiming that it is, but it is not.
All right,
No
I
matter
can't wait
how
to be
much
proven
you-
wrong. I will be saying
That's fine.
sorry, Papa the Guardian, if you prove me wrong. You'll be happy. You'll have
I'm not even
me
gonna ask-
apologizing. You'll have a doctor
ask
sucking your dick for a minute.
I'm not going to ask you to do any of that, JF, because I understand from your process that you assume that there's not a whole lot of information there, and I get that. It's not enough for you. There's a lot of people out there it's not enough for, and they say, "Oh, that looks weird," "Oh, that looks shady," but it's not. It's not. okay.
The thing with Hillary Clinton, for instance, and all of our WikiLeaks, it's not enough to get her convicted in a court, JF. But anyone looking at it and was looking during the election crusade, this is some shady, suspicious shit, and they could form their own opinion and then vote accordingly. No one is saying that this is a court of law, which is something that I'm repeating it for the last 4 hours.
I never claimed that it was a court of law. I
You're
claimed that I needed evidence, and you guys are acting like there is evidence, but you're not providing it. Therefore, I have to conclude
we're
that you guys
saying
are
there is
deceptive.
circumstantial evidence, okay? And you can say that's not enough for you. Fair enough, all right?
If I send you an email saying that you raped me yesterday, would that be circumstantial evidence in your view?
No, because it's just an email declaring something.
If you would have
to
like
have a history of
emails
This is
going-
exactly what you guys have at this point. You have an email declaring something. That's
If you
all
would
you
have
have. You
emails-
look like fucking retards.
If you would have emails from 2011 where you would say that I raped you or whatnot, and then you'd have people on a forum talking about it, and you would have this story that makes sense, and then the guy comes up in a stream later on and does admit it to it, right? Not in not in the full sense, but he does admit that he broke the contract and shit like that, then yeah, I think for any reasonable person at this point, you'd be like, yeah, he did something, but people can't prove it. That is exactly what I think the squirrel here is trying to say.
All right, keep walking in the dark and you'll be convincing yourself of fake beliefs. Ironically, this is exactly what religious people have been doing, and you've been criticizing them for doing that, for trusting circumstantial evidence, for saying, oh, the goodness of the people around me, that's a proof of God, or the Bible, that's a proof of God. Well, keep going. You guys are just making more complex lies than the religious people were doing before.
That's not
sure how long.
Look, mate, another example, right? People say that shady shit is happening at Google, that employers are being mistreated, right? I could say that I haven't seen actual evidence of this. I haven't been shown anything, so I'm not going to believe it. However, due to the whole nature surrounding the event, due to the other things that I know about it, yeah, I can say without, with being absolute certain, and I would put money on it. Like, I am willing to bet that, yeah, there is shady shit happening at Google.
Hey, V, just to interrupt you for a second. Andy,
calm down.
Wait, Andy, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that there's a lot of out of context clips right now on Twitter. I was on Mike Enoch's show yesterday, and I did challenge the alt-right on a lot of their beliefs and a lot of shit. But people are clipping out certain things just out of context, making me look bad. I was honestly on his show yesterday to talk about the debates and whatever and all that, and I was caught off guard on a lot of fucking shit right now. So I think in about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I'm going to be doing like a stream to clear everything up of my beliefs and all that stuff. Yeah, so it's kind of like the one really bad clip. I was agreeing to them saying that I believe that, yeah, the media does have an anti-white narrative on a lot of stuff. However, one of the co-hosts on the show said, hang on, I don't even know what the fucking word is. Oh, what's the word for interracial couples having sex?
Intersex marriage?
No, there's a word for it.
Mulate sex?
Abomination.
Oh, Jesus. No, hang on. Well, I don't know what the word is. It starts with an M, but
Mulates.
No, there's an actual word for it. Anyway, one of them had said that while I was agreeing with the anti-white
Miscegenation.
Yeah, that's the word. So apparently, when I was agreeing to them saying an anti-white narrative, one of the co-hosts had slipped in that word, which I didn't. I can't even pronounce lock. All right, I don't know what that word was. So it literally sounds like I'm agreeing with people not like I'm agreeing with the one guy saying that they shouldn't have that, which is obviously not my belief at all. So I have to do a fucking
Live stream.
Yeah, live stream. I'm gonna go over all my beliefs, everything that's happened. Well, I'm not gonna apologize. Someone in the chat, I'm not gonna apologize, but I'm gonna clear up everything because these out of context fucking clips are just I've been just fucking battling online right now. So yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, good luck, man. Just hopefully Jim doesn't get a hold of the clearing of your positions and then change it to something about Hasbro and fire bombs.
If he does, like that's like the memeing and shit, that's fine. But when like they're like, oh, you didn't challenge them at all. I was challenging them the entire time. They were like being anti-gay and I was being pro-gay. They were being anti like a lot of things, and I was like,
but sex, Andy.
I disagreed with the ethno state and all that stuff. You know, I was listening to them and I was trying to be respectful on the actual show. Yeah. But Sean and Jen or whatever, out of context clips.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, I'm gonna leave with Andy so I can hear what he has to say on this subject. But it was really fun talking to you guys, V and the Guardian.
I want to say this before you go. You know, I have respect for standing up for a friend and making his case for him, but I have a lot of disrespect for Coach Red Pill for not being here himself and defending him.
Yeah, well, I mean, either way, I mean, that's Coach Red Pill doing a smart
And
move.
even if you disprove the con man accusations and whatnot, the fact that in private he has a completely different personality, where he says honesty is a tactic, where he says that all is fair in love and war, and where he says that you need to be dishonest with people, and in public he pretends to be this moral person that talks about what Sargon should have done and what is the moral correct thing to do. Again, that accusation stands. That is,
there is no contradiction between these statements.
What?
There is no contradictions between these statements. You are interpreting these statements in a blurry fashion, in a mind that is too weak to understand what they mean, but there is no contradiction between these statements.
No, I disagree. I heavily
That's not an
disagree.
argument. What the fuck?
Well, make a whole 2-hour video on where the contradictions are philosophically
I don't
between
need
the
to.
two statements. I'll be able to.
If people think that someone who says honesty is not a tactic, it's a tool that a leader shouldn't have but should use on others, and that you should use people for your own gains, and they will say that this is a moral person.
That doesn't. The fact that he believes honesty can be a tactic, which is a true statement, by the way, strategically.
He believes that real leaders aren't honest, JF. This is the quote. Okay, stop being anal about it. Honesty is not a tactic. Honesty is a tool that leaders use. Leaders aren't honest. They ask others to be honest. That's
so
what he's
essentially the message of that is honesty is a form of tactic for leaders, right? It is not a good in and of itself. That statement is not in contradiction with the idea that Sargon has a moral responsibility to inform the audience if he finds that Kraut is engaging in bad activities.
All is fair in love
These
and
are
war.
not philosophically contradictory.
No. All is fair in love and war. All is fair, right? So it doesn't matter. And you also said that this whole thing with Kraut will explode and it will hurt innocent people or not. Right. So basically, he is not a moral person. A moral person would not say, well, innocents are being harmed. So, yeah, this is something that can be done. OK, you can argue.
Those are your confusions and your definitions about what a moral person is. That doesn't bind Coach Red Pill on anything.
So you honestly view Coach Red Pill as a moral person, just so you're on record.
I'm a moral nihilist. I don't view Coach Red Pill as a moral person. I don't care.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. I always have a thing is, JF. I'm not too keen on the moral nihilism. Can a person who's a moral nihilist claim something is moral or not?
Well, they can claim that it is morally preferable for them,
but
or not preferable.
But what is?
And if you hear me at some point say something is good or something is bad, that's what I mean by it.
So morally preferable is what you're meaning.
Yeah,
so something is preferable to you, but you cannot prescribe something as having a moral good or moral bad outside of your person.
Exactly,
correct?
While recognizing that other people have their own moral preferences just like me. That's moral nihilism in a nutshell.
Okay. Okay. That was one of the things that I always had a question.
When I say that Coach Red Pill isn't moral, if you're a moral nihilist, because that's what I said. He's not a moral person.
I'm not opposing to that theory that Coach Red Pill is a moral person. I'm opposing that your statement that his beliefs are contradictory is false. Bye-bye. Love to all of you. Love to the chat. And I'll be waiting the Guardian for the evidence. Bye-bye.
I got to redact the information and then I'll send it out. But yeah, it'll probably be Sunday because that's when I'm off.